What's up, friends? You got Gypsy back here today, bringing you W10 of the NPL. This week we are going up against Toge, so it's a rematch versus one of our divisional rivals. If you guys haven't seen my last match versus Toge, or if you guys have missed any of my other NPL matches and you're wanting to catch up, I've got a playlist on my channel of all the NPL matches thus far over the season. So if you guys want to go and have a look at that before you watch this, then feel free. But yeah, if you guys you don't want any spoilers if you haven't watched the match, then go and switch off now and go and watch that. But last time we played Toge, we beat him 5-0, so we're hoping to repeat that today. You know, get a nice victory over Toge, continue the win streak, keep it going. But of course, that's you know, nothing's ever a given in the NPL, as everyone is always you know, everyone here is a good player. So yeah, nothing is free, no win is free at all. And as you guys can see, Toge's brought the flinch core, the nice flinch hacks core of Togekiss and Jirachi to the game, so you know, that could be something we have to deal with. We might have to deal with that. And he's also brought Shedinja, so yeah, definitely an interesting kind of looking team. He's got the Rotom too, which is going to be potentially an issue if it can just freely spam Shadow Ball versus my team. Obviously I have the Weavile to check it offensively, but if Weavile gets weakened, then you know, Rotom is a lot freer to just spam Shadow Ball. Depending on its set, if it's like Specs or something, it can be a bit of a pain to deal with. But you know, we should be able to manage it. We have means of taking it down. So looking at his team, I'm feeling pretty confident. I'll just go quickly over what I brought. I've got just a standard Mega Pinsir, a nice and powerful Mega Pinsir, nice mixed defensive Zapdos. I've got a pretty interesting bulky Mew set with EQ, U-turn, Defog and Ice Beam. EQ is predominantly for the possibility of a Carmine Raichi, also hits Blaziken really hard, and is pretty nice just versus his team overall. Then we have Nidoking, which is a pretty standard Life Orb special attacking set. I'm naive, so I've got the Sucker Punch for things like Jirachi and the Rotom, and even the Shedinja, because that's my only actual way of hitting it. But I do have Toxic Spikes on this set as well, which is very nice, hitting 3 of the 6 mons on his team. Effectively rendering Shedinja useless if it's not Lumberry, which is very nice. And it can put a big damper on Garchomp's longevity if he's like a bulky jump. And the same goes for Blaziken. You know, if it's like a Focus Sash variant, just getting that Toxic Spike damage off it is quite nice for my team. Then we've got Weavile, which is a Sash variant this week. Sash Weavile, looking like it can put in a lot of work. You know, I see 5 mons a week to Weavile, and I see 1 check in Blaziken, and if that's an offensive set, then it's not quite the best check in the world. So we'll have to see. What the Blaziken turns out to be. But yeah, Weavile's looking pretty threatening this game, as does basically in every game that I bring it to. And last up, we've got my Alamomola, so pretty standard Alamomola this week. Nothing too crazy on it. I got knockoff for the Shedinja and the Jirachi, and just everything really. Knockoff is just really nice. And I've got Healing Wish on it if I need to bring anything back to life at some point in the match. So yeah, I'm just going to lead off with Weavile, because as you guys can see, like, what is his answer to Weavile? Like, it's Blaziken, and I can go for the Icicle Crash turn 1 if he wants to switch out to that and just scout his set and go from there. So we lead off with Weavile. He leads off with his Garchomp, and this is actually the lead matchup we had last time we played. And I went for the Icicle Crash, and I think he missed his Stone Edge or something like that, or I flinched him, one of the two. And you know, he didn't want it to happen again, obviously. We both want a nice clean match. So I just go for the Icicle Crash, knowing I can tank any hit, obviously because I'm Sash. And he goes for the Stone Edge, and it doesn't actually take me down to my Sash, so I actually got a bit of HP investment. Now right here, I go for the Icicle Crash again, while obviously I could have gone to the Pursuit. Like, the Pursuit was so obvious, like the switch out there was so obvious, like Pursuit would have killed Garchomp for that range of health. However, like, I would have taken rough skin damage, and then Weavile would have gone down to that, so it just wasn't really worth it in my mind. Weavile is just so important for the rest of his team. He brings this guy in, and the only reason, like, in my mind, you'd bring this thing in is if you're trying to bait me to go for knockoff, and you want to burn me. Or maybe you even want to Shadow Sneak, take me out if like he's max attack. So I'm just going to switch right out to Mew here, knowing that I can potentially eat, like, if he wants to Will-O-Wisp me, then he risks getting like synchronized burn back and then becoming useless. So this turn I switch out, I go right into my Mew, as he actually goes for the Baton Pass here, which is a cool play on his part, and he gets the nice free switch into Rotom. Now, I'm obviously not going to stay in with Mew, as a Rotom could potentially be like a Specs variant or anything like that. I just go into my Zapdos, knowing I can tank any hit. But he gets a Spit F drop here, and this really sucks because This means Zapdos can't really effectively wall this Rotom. I can. I'm roosting him leftovers more than it's doing, but I don't want to risk getting a crit. You know, going down to a crit with that spit up drop, it could be really costly. So I go into my Alamomola here, and then damage revealed on him that he was definitely max attack, but he wasn't a boosting item. So you know, he could be scarfed, he could be choice locked, like a scarf variant, or he could be a barrier of some sort. I know that Alamomola can take any hit, even if he does have T-Bolt, because he's not like choice specs. I know I can take any hit with Alamomola, so I just go and I eat the Shadow Ball, and now I can just pivot out into my Nidoking, just scouting if he is not choice locked and wants to Volt Switch out. Alternatively, his likely switches are going to be Shedinja or Togekiss up on my Alamomola, because you know Jirachi may not want to come in on knocking off its item. So I just go right out into my Nidoking as he switches out, goes out to his Togekiss. So pretty good situation for us. If he is if he is a Scarf variant, we'll know at this point. I just opt to set up my Toxic Spikes because I do predict him to switch out. I don't really see him being Scarf because of my Zapdos, but you know, it's possible. But I was willing to stay in here and risk it. I just go for the Toxic Spikes. As he now switches out to a Shedinja, and that's completely fine. I can now just go back out to my Mew, because if he wants to burn me again, I could just burn this thing right back. I do have Healing Wish on my Alamomola, so I'm not too phased, like if Mew does get status. As now in comes Rotom, and once more I'm going to go out to my Zapdos. Now he fires off a Trick, and you know, that's pretty cool. He was a Scarf variant, so now Zapdos is, you know, it's still useful, but obviously it's, you know, it misses the longevity offered by being able to just wrist up. So that's definitely, you know, not the greatest, but it's also like not the worst, because now that this is not choice scarfed, it's significantly less threatening to my team. Pinsir will be able to, Pinsir won't outspeed it before it Mega Evolves, but stuff like my Weavile will be able to outspeed it, which is very nice. We'll be able to Pursue Trap it once the Reflect goes away. Knockoff will kill actually, even with the Reflect up, so that is quite nice. But I'm just gonna stay in here and fire a few HP Ices, as now I can switch, go out into my Alamomola, as he fires off another one, and I know I can take a Volt Switch at this range of health, even a T-Bolt, because I am quite specially defensive. As now I just fire off a Knockoff, because if he wanted to stay in and T-Bolt me, I would have knocked off his lefties, really reducing his longevity. And if he wants to switch out to anything, knocking off an item is great. I actually knock off his Focus Sash, which, yeah, basically means Shedinja's going to go down here to the combination of knockoff plus the poison damage. So in comes Togekiss now, and I contemplated going out to my Zapdos. However, like, Zapdos is such an obvious switch, he could have just fired off a Dazzling Gleam, which he actually ends up doing, and this Dazzling Gleam does 49%. That is a Specs Togekiss, and very cool prep on Togespot. Yeah, definitely a nice, you know, nice lure to lure in the Zapdos and just bop it with a really powerful Dazzling Gleam, because Togekiss is really strong, especially with the specs on it. So we take that pretty well, even though we are naive, we eat that up, which is pretty nice to see. And now we can just fire off a T-Bolt, because if he does want to switch out to Rotom, he's still going to do a decent amount, and I do have the Sucker Punch to follow it up and take him out the next turn. Like, he could have gone for the Reflect here, but I did think his best play was just to attack. And now we're looking pretty good, because that thing's out of the way. That's one less thing standing in the way of Mega Pinsir, because Mega Pinsir obviously could be outsped by it before it Mega Evolves, so that's one less thing that Mega Pinsir has to worry about. And then when comes Jirachi, and I'm just going to go right into my Zapdos just to scatter set, in case he is like a physical set with Iron Head or Zen Headbutt or something of that nature. He's Psychic, so he's more than likely a Carmine set, like I did talk about in the team prep part. And that's not too bad. Like, whilst, you know, it looks bad him setting up on my Zapdos here, I can just go out to my Mew, who can really take this thing on, because Carmine Rachi is quite nice, but the fact that he's sub Carmine means that he really suffers for Moose Slot Syndrome, in the sense that he needs to run either Flash Cannon or HP Fighting to take on my Weavile, and then, you know, he's going to want something else like Psychic or something of that nature to take on my other mons like Alamomola and Zapdos. So that means that effectively Mew's pretty free to take on the Jirachi with the EQ, so I was pretty happy I slapped on EQ on this Mew set. Now I make the prediction here, and I predict him to go into his Togekiss, because Jirachi is quite important. And I go for the U-turn right here, grabbing momentum, going right into my I go right into my Zapdos here. Now the reason for this is Nidoking doesn't have Sludge Wave, he has T-Bolt. T-Bolt doesn't kill from this range. Mega Pinsir is not a guaranteed kill with Return, and Weavile is not a guaranteed kill with Icicle Crash. So I just want to weaken this thing a bit with Hidden Power Ices. Like, I'm better off just firing off Hidden Power Ices, because if I get a little bit of damage, then he's guaranteed to die to Return from my Mega Pinsir, who outspeeds pre-Mega Evolution, I should say. So Radio just fire off some HP Ices. If you wanted to go to Garchomp there, I would have predicted T-Bolt or something of that nature, like he would have just died. But as you can see, he's just going to stand and let his Togekiss get whittled. I really just needed to fire up one Hidden Power Ice, then he was just going to go down to Pinsir anyway. But now I can bring in Weavile, and the reason I bring in Weavile is I bring in Weavile because if I'd brought in Mega Pinsir there, and he'd switched out into something like Jirachi, he would have been able to outspeed me and potentially crit me or something the next turn. I just go into my Weavile because I know this is going to force in the Blaziken, and now like forcing in the Blaziken to come in on the Weavile means that like I can potentially knock off a Cobra Berry, meaning that Mega Pinsir can win after that's knocked off. And as you guys can see, that's actually exactly what happens. He brings in the Blaziken, and at this point, like if he's Scarfed, he's going to take out my Weavile, and I can revenge with my Mega Pinsir, or I can go into my Alomomola and Healing Wish up something on my team. But he actually just he reveals to be Weakness Policy after taking that knockoff, which is pretty interesting prep. Like, I don't know, maybe he was like an Endure set. I don't even know if Blaziken gets Endure, but yeah, Toge must have had a good plan behind that. But the fact that he is Weakness Policy is really nice, because I know he's not like even if he was even if he agility'd up there, he would have still been in range to die to a Quick Attack from Mega Pinsir. And at this point, Mega Pinsir can really just clean up the game, because this thing is not leaving a Quick Attack. Jirachi's going to go down to the combination of knockoff plus return, and as you guys can see, like I comfortably eat up this Psychic. It only does about 40% to my Mega Pinsir, so yeah, we're eating those up all day, and we can just take them out with the return. And now in comes Garchomp, and judging by the damage on that Weavile did with Icicle Crash with the Yachi Berry, like I know this thing is quite defensive. Well, it's not a very fast Garchomp anyway, and I know that Mega Pinsir can outspeed, even though I am not like speed creeping like a jolly max speed Garchomp. And then we have the match. I hope you guys enjoyed a pretty nice 4-0 versus Toge. We were both pretty happy with the match afterwards. Like there was no hacks. There was no like hacks that really mattered. Like we got the Spit F drop on the Shadow Ball against our Zapdos, but that wasn't like, you know, that wasn't like a pivotal moment in the match or anything. Like I would have been forced to switch out to Alomomola eventually anyway. You know, I didn't want to risk getting crit because Zapdos was so important. So yeah, there wasn't any hacks that mattered in any sense, and yeah, it was just a pretty clean game, a nice win. That's 10, so our win streak moves up to 10-0, which is pretty nice. Hopefully we can continue that going forward in the next couple of games of the regular season. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like. I'll leave a comment letting me know what you guys thought of the team in the match. If you guys haven't already checked out Toge's channel, then go and check him out. I'll be leaving his link in the description once again. He's really close to getting to 200 subscribers, so if you guys like aren't already subbed to him, go and drop a sub and yeah, get that man to 200 subscribers. As I said, he's a really strong battler and a really creative builder. He's yeah, definitely one of the top players in the NPL, so definitely go and check him out. And I'll see you guys soon for my CPC week 4 match. We've got a little win streak going on there as well, so hopefully we can continue there. But we'll see. I'm playing Paul this week, so yeah, very strong player. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next time.